Well, Deanna, thank you for coming on the Red Carpet Round Table.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening.
You're very welcome. Can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Oh, wow. Where do I start from? And I say that very humbly because I've been a part of the entertainment business now for about over 25 years. I am a SAG actress as well, SAG AFTRA actress. I started off as an actress. Mind you, fast forward now, I am a producer. As a producer, I still stay very relevant in front of the camera, but I love being behind the camera and I love producing because I love giving back to
Hmm.
community with everything that I do. I love giving back to my actor friends. I love giving the opportunity to other people because I know exactly what it feels like, and it's so exciting.
And I'm totally agree with you. Giving back to the community. That's 100% true. Storytelling. We going a little bit forward, we want to impact the audience, we want to change one person in the movie theater. If we can change one person in the movie theater, that means something. It'll change aspect of the person. Same thing at home, and that is so touching because I've seen movies at home or at movie theater that I'm not ashamed to talk about this. I shed tears. It's like, you watch that movie in the middle of the movie, you shed tears and like, wow, that is what an actress and actress do to impact a person or persons in the movie theater. I just want to say that out there. That is 100% true what you said. It's community, storytelling. Because when you leave the movie theater, you see people talking about the scenes. That is what you want to hear.
Oh,
It doesn't
absolutely.
matter if they know you, if you're famous or not. If you're walking out of the movie theater and you're like, "Wow, this is what you want to hear." And I'm serious because you never know. They may not recognize you that you're in the movie, but at least you feel so proud that you hear it and it gives you I mean, it gives you hair stand up. That is what I love about storytelling.
Yeah. And that's what I love. And that's why I did obviously come out with Deanaland Productions. I went ahead and I developed my own production company because with Deanaland Productions, I filmed with a purpose. My very first short film was about human trafficking, and it was about putting the awareness out there about human trafficking. And that was very dear to my heart, talking about a passion project. That project technically took about 3 years to finally see the light of day. It ran through film festivals, but that was one of my favorite moments was a person actually standing up during the Q&A and just telling me straight out, Deanna, I hated you playing your role in the human trafficking content that you created. And that's where I knew for a fact I did exactly what I needed to do as an actress.
Hmm.
I did my job. So for an audience to go ahead and engage and hate my character, I did my job. And when you touch people in an audience like that during film festivals, that is the greatest feedback that you can receive, both positive and negative, whether they're laughing or, pretty much intervening with your character. And as you do your character development in your short films or your projects that you into the film festivals, people engage with your character. And when they stand up during the Q&As, either congratulating you or telling you, oh my God, I hated your character, just what I received. But you're absolutely right about that. It's all about driving that audience through an emotional roller coaster. And as a producer, I love producing content that does exactly that.
And that's absolutely touching what you are doing. Made a documentary about human trafficking. We need to spread awareness, from coast to coast, north to south. Happens in other countries as well. And it's good we are spreading awareness. It's important we're spreading awareness because if there is a survivor out there, we are telling their story and they will appreciate it because they want to spread awareness.
So true.
That is what storytelling is.
It
That is
is.
what it is. And we make documentaries, we make movies, we make TV shows about storytelling. If there, if there is no storytelling, then there's no movie I mean about
No,
true
you're
story.
so right about that. And by the way, that short film is available on Radiate TV. It's called The Product. And as I mentioned, it puts the awareness out there about human trafficking. And we're doing really, really well on the Radiate platform. So everybody, Radiate TV, it's spelled RAYD, the number eight TV, and it's out there available for you to go ahead and view. So, but
And you can download the app, everyone. You can download the
yes.
app. So please do go support it. What is your next project or documentary you want to do?
Well, right now, I am actually enjoying the whole ride of Billboards Inc. Billboards Inc. was another project that I fell upon 2 years ago, following the Billboard moguls out of Orange County. And what stemmed from that was a real business, now platforming onto a reality TV docuseries. So that right now is my current project that I have going on, and we're running through festivals. We're also streaming on both Tubi and Rayd8TV. So we're out there on two amazing platforms. And I'm very grateful because it really shows the entrepreneurship behind the scenes of what happens when four entrepreneurs come together and form this billboard company. So again, there's those personalities that, ruffle back and forth because of their personality differences in business. But in the 5 episodes, you really get to see us come together and do exactly what we do, and that is platform billboards throughout the nation. And in the season finale of the 5th episode, that is exactly what we do, and that what our goal was to actually platform in New York, and that's exactly what we did with the billboards.
Well, that's amazing. Again, it goes back to, I have to say it, storytelling.
Exactly. So true. So
I do.
true.
I don't get tired of saying that. It is the fact. I mean, it's the fact. It's funny, but also it's the fact because if we have no storytelling, again, I'm saying this, we don't have anything.
No,
That's
you're absolutely right about that. And
nobody
so, yeah,
nobody
no,
predicted I would say this. Law and Order goes so long, Criminal Minds that goes so long, or I'm a big Harry Potter fan, but Harry Potter is so long. Nobody thought of that. But when you have storytelling, the scripts and the storytelling, that is it. You're getting the audience attention. You're
no,
getting
you're
it.
so right. You're
And that
so right
is
about that.
because people are so surprised. I tell people, who are not in the entertainment industry in the regular world, and they're like, "Yeah, I watch Law and Order," and they look at you like, "Law and Order is still on?" I said, "Yeah, they're on season something something." They're like, "Wow, I need to catch up," and I said, "Yes," and it's like inspiring that they're still going. That's to me that they're still going is because the audience loves it, and again, storytelling.
No, it's so true. And I know you had mentioned what do I have now coming up? And that's funny that you mentioned that because as a producer, you you're actually not able to enjoy the whole fact of when you actually have a project out because now everybody's like, oh, what are you going to do next? Or is there going to be season two? And are you going to be working on another project? So as a producer, I'm definitely enjoying the bliss right now, Billboards Inc. But moving on from that, do I have another project in the works? I sure do. And that one has been a project that's been in development now for 2 years. And although like I said, I'm enjoying the right now Billboards Inc. And we're going to be at the Man's Chinese Theater this Saturday. That will be September the 6th. We're going to be having a premiere there for Billboards Inc. So again, like I said, enjoying that ride, but moving on to talking about the new project that's in development. That right there, I want to kind of keep it on a little bit of a surprise, but I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's basically a series about 5 Latina women, strong women here in LA, has to deal with a producer, a comedian, a podcaster, a PR personnel, and a aspiring actress. So
Wow.
it's about 5 powerful women. So think Sex in the City meets Entourage. So
Okay. I love that. That is
it is a
that.
dramedy. So it is a dramedy. So it'll show again the behind the scenes of friendship, basically commitment, drama, relationships, dating after 50. So it has lots of colors of the rainbow.
That's absolutely amazing. It really is. It just talks about women empowerment. Um, and I believe there needs to be more women empowerment, and I believe that there needs to be more women directors and producers out there.
We're
And
trying.
no, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. It is. And it's amazing when you watch documentaries or watch movies and then you find out the director was a female and the producer was a male, or the male was a director and the producer was a female. I believe it's 100% great combination. You have two minds coming together, making great films, making great documentaries. And your testimony right there showing all the women come together and doing that is another testimony that all women in backgrounds, different race, but different culture, can come together and bring ideas on set. That right there is powerful because you can be on set and everybody has this different ideas because it's a different background, different culture, and you learn it. And that is what the entertainment is about, the entertainment industry.
No, you're so right about that. And going back to what you had mentioned, the storytelling, that is exactly what I love to do as a producer. And what I do is I do take a lot of my personal life and I develop them into the stories. But again, I bring in my actor friends and also family I brought in the past as well too. And just engaging with the whole fact of making it storytelling with the entertainment, which is always a plus and always bringing that little bit of extra spice of just the character development into my projects.
Yes, 100%. And now you did, I gotta ask this question. What's the most pivoted moment in your career?
Wow. Uh, I would definitely have to say when I was doing background work, and this was 20 plus years ago, every time I would show to set, I would get what's called upgraded. And I would really have to say that was a pivotal moment where when it was consistently happening, whether it was on a commercial or on a feature film, because when you go to my IMDb, Man on the Moon was my first upgrade. And I got to work with Jim Carrey, Milos Forman, which was our director, at the time. And it was an amazing cast. Little did I expect, but ended up being upgraded. Before you know it, I was put into a trailer and I was living the dream of being an actress in Hollywood. And that's, I can really say, was my pivotal moment that I'm like, wow, I really can make a career out of this. And that's exactly where I can really say that was my pivotal moment because, yeah, I mean, when I got the upgrade, it was definitely probably about 5 times more than the pay that I should have been receiving that day. I so happened to be in the right place at the right time. But as I mentioned, it was happening consistently, and that's when I can really say I had my pivotal moment because when I have Milos Forman now directing me to hold Jim Carrey's head in my hand, yeah, that was definitely a pivotal moment.
That's amazing, Jim Carrey. I love the
Yes.
guy. He is amazing and funny, and I am mind blowing you get to work with him.
Yes, I have gotten to work with a lot of amazing A-listers, and I think right now, fast forward, when I do show up at the red carpet events, whether I'm supporting a major feature film in it or not, I get to see a lot of these celebrities, and what's really, really amazing is that they remember. That is the amazing part. They remember. And so when I show up and I'm like, hey, and they'll look at me like, you know, and I'm still here. I'm still doing exactly what
That's um,
I was meant to do
amazing.
and be in front and behind the camera. So, and making it a business. And that's exactly how I treat Hollywood is exactly as a business.
Yes,
So I receive a
100%.
paycheck.
I gotta ask, since you mentioned his name, how was it like working with Jim Carrey?
Well, working with Jim Carrey with on Man on the Moon, he was in character the whole time. So if you ever saw the movie Man on the Moon, it had to deal with an individual where
Hmm.
you have to watch the movie. I don't want to give out too
Right,
much
I
about
totally understand. Don't give it out.
I don't want to give it out, but he was in character the whole time. So he was not Jim Carrey. I saw Jim Carrey at the red carpet event, but he was not Jim Carrey on set. He was definitely a character 24/7.
Wow, amazing. That's absolutely powerful that he was on character. He was him. It was him, but he was in character. That's absolutely.
And if you ever study Andy Kaufman, he did exactly every twerk, every turn. It's pretty amazing. Again, when you work with a lot of actors that are method
Hmm.
actors, you really get to see the talent because they become that person on set. And no matter where they're sitting at lunch with you or they're around, everybody, they are still in that character.
Wow. And for you, what is the most impactful character you ever played?
I would have to say in the human trafficking, the product, that
Hmm.
was definitely the most impactful for several reasons. Number one, I got to learn a lot about human trafficking, and I was very educated about the survivors and as well as the people who basically again ran the compounds. But being on set with the children, that was impactful because I had to go in and out of character. So with that said and done, like for example, we would shoot the first scene, and the madam in the actual short film is not nice at all. So I actually had a couple of the children really crying. And then when we'd cut, I'd be like, no, 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 I'm Deanna. Don't worry about it. I'd go down to their level, be playing with them, in between takes and stuff like that. So they knew the difference between me being in character and me being really myself. And that was very impactful because I really saw what a character can do when you're on set with children, especially during filming such as impactful moments of human trafficking and playing that person, ugly person, horrible person on camera. And just that impactfulness just really, really stayed in my mind day and night. Again, just constantly always praying for victims who do have to go through the human trafficking. But again, it impacted my life probably for the rest of my life as far as I can remember all the memories of shooting the product.
Wow, that is very powerful. Because you just mentioned it right there, getting into character can
Yes,
change a
so true.
person
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%. And getting out of the character, you have to calm down or, do all that stuff that you just mentioned. And I cannot imagine how tough that role was for you. I
Oh, it was
cannot.
tough. Like literally, when we would obviously wrap from set, going back to my hotel and everything, you're exhausted because you're putting out this energy that is not organically yourself. And playing such a harsh character, like even if you go and you watch the short film, even people tell me your face was so different because you really have to get into that character. And you got to think to yourself, my gosh, what would this person be thinking while they're in front of the children? And, you really have to put yourself in that character. So I would have to say, when we shot the first portion of it, I went home for the from the weekend of the shoot, and I was exhausted. I think I slept for about 2 days, and even my spouse at the time just told me straight out, I don't want you playing these roles anymore because they definitely exhaust you and you come home a train wreck. And so, again, like I said, when you really get into the depth of acting and playing such a heavy character like that, it really leaves that impact on you.
Wow. Has there ever been a moment while you're playing any character that it took you a really hard time to get out of that character role?
Oh, wow. Yes. Believe it or not. Being on 3 seasons of Container Wars, I really brought the character home. I brought the character home. And with that, again, you kind of build up this masculine energy because working around men, Container Wars, we were on a container yard bidding for containers, but it was very competitive. So when we were shooting first, second, and third season, we were always shooting 2 episodes a week. So we would shoot one episode on a Tuesday, the next episode we would shoot would be on a Thursday. So again, in between those days of shooting, I'd go home with the actual character because within that next day, I would have to play her all over again. But I would basically, again, come home with that masculine energy. And my husband would be like, wait a second here, I'm not competing with you. You don't have to like have this harshness about you. So that right there, again, I can say I brought the character home. That was probably for about 4 years.
Oh, wow. And for you as yourself, did you know you brought the character home, or did it take you a while for you to notice that I'm still in this character?
I definitely recognized it firsthand, first season, because as I mentioned, we had one day off in between the shoots. So I definitely can say that I was very aware that I brought home the character, but within 2 months we were done with shooting, and things would go back to normal at home in a sense where I wasn't bringing the character home anymore. And again, during that time of shooting, I can really say I had more of a potty mouth because whether on screen or off screen, when you're around men competing, you tend to just be dropping F-bombs left and right because you really are competing, like literally. And so, yeah, definitely I can say that I was very aware that I brought the character home. But then again, when we were done with the shoot, character just faded away until the next season.
That's good. I had to ask that because I know a lot of actors um had to step outside to get some fresh air because some of the roles they do get, it really hits them. They're crying or they're really angry, especially a crying scene. They just, when they say cut, you're still bawling and crying. Like, you'd be like, okay, I got to step out. I have to get out. I have to get out and get fresh air. And it's like, that to me, it's powerful because you are storytelling that person's role, and it's real tears. It's real
Oh yeah.
tears. Some actors have told me that and it's hard to say this, but they go into a bad memory in their brain.
Oh yeah.
They hate to bring that up. And somehow once you hit that bad area in your brain, it just you can't stop crying because it's an image that keeps coming and coming. And they have to get a fresh air to get their mind back to normal, to get that memory away. And it just hits them. I think it's just that's why I asked you, is like, is it hard to get out of character? Because I know a lot of them have a really hard time. Like, they may have to say, we can't film every day. I really got to take a break. This is really getting to me. So it's that's the one thing I think a lot of audience don't realize, that when actors get in character, you don't know what it's doing to them mentally, their mental health,
No,
and I
which that's a great subject to talk about and bring up because the mental health and the mental wellness of being an actor or an actress in Hollywood, you definitely have to have that capability of knowing again what the reality is in your job. And that I can really say out loud, I do practice a lot of meditation, self-awareness, self-love, because again, when you put yourself out there with this, different energies, and you can call it, different characters that you take on, you really, really become that much more, again, transparent to not just giving, but receiving, not such great energy in return. And you really have to learn how to just shake off a lot, even regardless of whether how successful you can be, you're still going to experience rejection. You're still going to experience, again, the different type of energy. So being able to micromanage that self-awareness and that self, again, just being able to be very protective of your spirit and having that mental wellness, it does help in the process of having a very successful emotional career. Because when you come home, just like I tell my cast, I'm not saying you're not a nobody, but when you come home, you just go back to who you truly are. And that is no one to really recognize or, acknowledge the whole fact of how great and wonderful you can be on camera. You
Mhm.
just go back to being normal.
Yes, 100%.
And it sometimes is a new normal because you have to micromanage your life in so many different
Mm-hmm.
ways. Like my new cast members from Billboards Inc., they're now on the red carpet. They're now out going and being recognized wherever they go. But again, when they go back home, they're just back to normal. And
Yes.
again, I don't like saying a nobody, but they're just back to normal and back to that whole existence
Reality.
of reality. Exactly.
And you're absolutely right. I'm glad we talk about this subject. I'm a big mental health advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important to talk about mental health. A lot of people, a lot of kids and
True.
teenagers who are in the entertainment industry, they don't realize, I don't want to say don't, I don't want to say that they don't realize, they do, but it's very important to talk about mental health with family members.
Oh,
I
yes.
believe it's very important. And also, I just want to say this real quick that we're not talking enough about mental health. We're not. And it
Well,
doesn't matter.
if you go and watch Billboards Inc., I think it's in episode 2. That's one thing I definitely said, even on
Hmm.
camera, making sure to take care of the mental wellness of my actors while I'm on set, and just as I mentioned earlier, being around kids, you really, really have to be very diligent about that. And because if you're not, then why are you in the whole entertainment business? Because you really have to care about people along the way.
Amen. You said it right there. Have to care for people. We're a family. And 100%
That's
we are
true.
family. And I think a lot of people have a hard time believing it until they're really in the business and they're like, wow, we are a family. And it's a support. It's a support. It is the um industry that we how to describe it as actors and actresses and myself or anybody else who knows about this, we kind of know or similarly know what they're going through and their mindset.
Right.
We cheer people on. They're going for audition. You got this. Go for it.
Yes.
Congratulations. Got the role. Got a call back. That's the encouragement we need to be saying because that helps them with their mental health. And it's the love.
Oh,
It's the
no,
love.
absolutely. You're so right about that. And just again, to kind of touch the subject of mental health and mental wellness, I actually worked on a film a couple years ago, and it's still on Tubi. It's called Bloodline. And the person who was the lead actor in that film, I knew he was not mentally stable, but I tried my very best to intervene behind the scenes, and as well as, being able to carry him through the whole fact of post production. And he actually ended up trying to murder the lead actress in the actual movie. This is for real. He's incarcerated right now. He's already been sentenced to 5 years plus for attempted murder. And so, again, you never know who you're working with. But when you're aware of people who do have that mental illness, in the process, again, you really have to genuinely care because needless to say, you don't realize when you compromise the whole fact of even your own safety. So when you're aware of other people's mental wellness and you do care, you're able to recognize that and you try to help them through and carry them through,
Hmm.
in front of the camera or behind the camera. In this case, again, I tried my very best to do what I can do, micromanaging while he was in front of the camera. But when we are in post production, I definitely can say I recognized, his mental being and not so well being. And I'm just so very aware of it, especially after that whole incident of what happened, because I know on a normal side, a lot of producers may not go through that in their careers, but I have, and I really am so glad that again that I have very good coping mechanisms, and I do
Hmm.
relate to the whole fact of always again caring about the people that I'm around in Hollywood.
Right. 100%. And thank you for bringing that awareness. And it's a sad situation, and it's unfortunate.
No, it's true.
Um,
Very unfortunate.
and that's why I always say be kind to one another.
Oh, you have to.
Always.
You have to. You have to
Right.
spread the love. If you love yourself, you're going to love others.
Right. And you know, and I'm by the way, thank you for not mentioning his name. I understand, but it's the love, it's the kindness about it. I always tell my friends, you know, it doesn't matter if they're in the entertainment industry or not. I always tell my friends, call people, check up on them. Hey, you want to have dinner? 30 minutes? Do it. You want to have lunch? Do it. You want to talk on the phone and cry? That's fine. Let's talk. What's happening? And people in real life appreciate that
No, it's so
because
true.
they are being acknowledged. That's the key word. You're acknowledging them.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
thing.
definitely connection. Connection is real. Connection is a part of, again, Hollywood. And if you are a connector, you'll connect with people for life. Or if you're a disconnector, then you'll just go and do your job and go back
Hmm.
home. And that's pretty much it. I'm a connector, so yeah, I connect with a lot of people. Again, that's why, having a career in Hollywood, it's beyond the whole fact of just filming and creating this whole
Right. And
venue for people to become famous,
mhm.
because you need to care about people along the way.
Yes, and that's who I am. People who have met me or people who know me, even people who first meet me, they're like, you know, they're like, wow, you just met me and we are becoming friends. And I was like, yes, I don't mind making friends. What? And people are shocked. They're like, and they're like, wow, you just easily connected to that person. I was like, well, for me, I like that. You have this such subject to talk about, like
Oh, absolutely.
movies and all this stuff. And that's one thing people are so surprised about me. It's not about me. It is, but it's not because it's like they're like, wow, you just love to connect. And I said,
Right.
well, yeah, I don't, I don't mind. I really don't mind it. That's what I love. I love spreading love in the community. And that's it. Love one another and spread peace. And help each other. And that is what I love. I stand by that, and that is one thing, you hope that you're doing for any community that you go on from generation to generation. We all live once, right? And we want to, I personally, want to be remembered as not as this, as myself, have my own talk show or whatever. I want to
Right.
be remembered as this person who has changed the community, but also changed the entertainment industry or the actors. That's what my views are. I am saying, hey, it doesn't matter who we are individually. It doesn't matter if we're actors or whatever or not actors. We all can change the community, be kind, and spread love in the communities. That's where it is. You can impact your own community and go from there. And that is the key of happiness. People will acknowledge what you're doing. And that's what I love, and I that's what my storytelling is, and a lot of people be maybe wondering what's your storytelling? What is it? And it's like, it doesn't matter if I'm on a big screen or not, right? It's about storytelling. It's about spreading love in the community, love, kindness. I will tell you a true story real quick.
Yes.
I was in the supermarket and I saw this mom crying in line with her daughter. Her daughter must have been 5 years old, and they had lots of items they were shopping. And I was standing behind the lady, and I was just ignoring myself and had my Apple headphones on, anyways, and I didn't have it so loud where I can hear, and she's crying, and her card was denied. And
No.
this was like maybe a Tuesday, beginning of the week, right? And um, quote me, I think it was Tuesday, and she's crying, and you could tell she had everything for the week, including the weekend, and she's
Oh,
bawling and crying, right? And she walked away, and what I did when she walked away, I told the cashier, "I need you to go get the lady. I'm gonna pay for it with my
wow.
item, with my items."
Thank
And the
you.
cashier's like, "Are you sure?" And he said, "It's gonna be like $130 or something." And I said, "Go get the lady." And she came back in, and I paid for it. And she was crying. She was really crying, and she thanked me so much. And everybody in line couldn't believe it, right? And the cashier was just shocked, right? And the lady was shocked, and to me, you felt happy. You felt happy. You were spreading from there, from the community.
Yeah.
And that's the good news for her daughter. She sees somebody doing good deed for her mom. You don't know what she was going through, but to me, I just couldn't deny all the groceries she had because it could have been just both of them, right? She's trying to feed herself and her daughter, the weak, you know.
Well, it's those acts of kindness that really go a
It's
long
That's
way.
the thing. It's the act of kindness, you know. And that's what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter what we're doing. We as actors and producers and directors and movie set crew, when we're making movies, when we're making TV shows, when you see an actor acting that scene out in a TV show or a movie doing that as well, you hope and you pray that whoever's watching this will do the same thing in public. That is what I hope for. I hope that somebody was in that line who noticed me doing that, say, you know what, I want to do the same thing, right? And that's how me personally, how I want to be remembered as, because now, as I think about it, that mom and daughter is going to remember that for a
Well,
long
that's why I
time.
said thank you so much for what you did because again, it is going to go a long way, but to pay it forward and the karma that comes right back to you is going to be nothing but that much more.
Right. It is. It is. I felt very proud leaving. I felt very good. I had to, um, in my moment, I had to pause my life for a moment and I shed tears. I shed tears because I don't know how to describe it. It was me trying to get back into my reality of my life. It is because it felt like there was cameras around me, like I was on set. I was
Well, there are
playing a
cameras around
role.
you. Oh God,
But
God is watching everything you're doing.
just leaving that was very touching. She was crying, loading everything. And she just said thank you so many times. She said thank you so many times. And it just very meaningful because I just my heart just go out for that mom and that daughter. It's just very important what we do and
Yes.
for a community what we do. And I've seen so many TV shows and movies that made me think of things to do. Right? We do things to storytell, and that's why I'm a big person about storytelling. I mean, storytelling is a true fact. It's a true fact. And people don't believe it. Well, I don't believe that. That's BS, excuse my language, but it is BS because storytelling is the truth. It's the fact of what we tell the communities and everywhere. You know,
So
we
true.
we are
Yeah, and
doing
that's
that.
why, again, sometimes when you play the certain characters that you do in movies or in, obviously on TV, people think that's who you really are in person. So you're right about that.
It is. It's mind blowing. And I will never forget doing that. I think that for me again was impactful. I did not I did not expect me doing that. That's the truth. I just I just felt bad, and I felt like I needed to do something, and I did it. And so it was just a powerful moment, and I think I remember somebody asked me in that line, "Why are you doing this?" And I just looked back at the person and say, I just say, I hope you do it too. I hope you do it too.
Yeah,
Pay
that's
it
so
forward.
true.
Because and I just told the person, you never know. It may happen to you, right? So I just want you to know, I hope you pay it forward as well. And that's just how I left it. But that's like your story as well. You are telling people's stories. You are producer. You are telling storytelling. You're doing
I was
all
just
this.
I will pay it forward to you, and I definitely will keep my word with you as far as hoping to get you some more guests on your podcast, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I just want to say, your testimony, your story is so powerful. I appreciate your story. That's impactful of your journeys, of your testimony, being in the entertainment industry for how many years? 25 years, you know,
25
and
years.
that is a true dedication. I want to say real quick, a true dedication because I want to say this real quick. I know in that 25 years, sometime in that 25 years, you probably something was telling you you should quit. You probably had your down moments, right? But no, here's your testimony. Your testimony
It always
is
called me back in and said, come down, come
your
down.
testimony is you did not give up. You kept the courage, you kept the faith, and you kept fighting. That right there gives my hair standing up, gives me chills. And I'm serious because that is a testimony in telling people, especially young actors and young people out there and upcoming, or anybody who's in the entertainment industry, do not give up. I'm in this for 25 years, many more to come. And your testimony shows that. You had a roller coaster, you all this stuff, and here you are, you're doing this. So I'm just want to say that real quick.
Thank you. I
Amazing.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you
It's
for having
just,
me on your podcast. I very
yes,
much
thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've talked a little longer than I wanted, but I
Oh,
appreciate
sure.
I really appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that next project that I'm going to be doing, and I can finally let it out of the bag for you.
Yes, I know you can't talk about it now, but we're definitely going to talk about it when you get back.
We will. Thank you so much for
Thank you. I'll
having
talk to you
me.
soon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
Bye
bye-bye.
bye.